afternoon, everyone. Here's the index that we follow during the presentation. We talk first about the motivation that have driven us to work on this project. We talk indeed of all virtual laboratories and two virtual experiments that we have running on. We talk about the conclusions once we have done the project and the future line support of this project. Okay, that's our situation. We have several students that has to perform different physical practices in a physical laboratory. Okay, this generates two kind of problems. So on the one hand, there's the time to perform the practices because there are no trivial practices, and if a student does not finish in time the practice, it means that he must return to the laboratory in a different schedule established. And on the other hand is the money, the cost per unit of the hardware, because science is not a cheap hardware. So we plan to solve this situation in different ways. One was the remote laboratory, but that option has 2 big points. One was implementation of the system for manage the time to service, because only one student at a time perform the practice. And obviously, the other good point is that it's not a multi-user solution. The other solution, virtual laboratories. Here we clone in both appearance and behavior hardware of one experiment, and we make a Java applet embedded in an HTML page, so it's available 24/7 for students, and as we will see, it relies in a Linux server, so the multi-user feature is a cheap solution. Okay, the requirements to be met by this work are it must be an autonomous system, since the virtual campus which tries to access the virtual laboratory, it doesn't have to be a restriction. The multi-platform system, because the application must be programmed in a language that allows us to run in any web browser. And the modularity of the project refers to the independence of every module of the project that make up the virtual laboratory. That's our evolution. First we have physical practices to do. One is the magnetic levitator and the other is the pendulum. So we start to work in the virtualization of these two physical experiments with a free software tool named Easy Java Simulations. That is a software that makes easy the programming of Java languages that need a graphical interface. And we rely on a computation engine to perform the most complex mathematical operation. In our case, we have campus license. We use MATLAB, but we also use any other programs such as Blade. And finally, we try to adapt the practices with appropriate technology. As I said, we use Java. That's a general share. We have the user with a device with internet connection, connects to the internet, connects to a server noodle, in our case, our campus. And it also connects in terms to the server repository where we have the application and the computation engine. The modules in this project, there's a user and the internet, the Moodle server. In our university we use Moodle version 2, and we have implemented a ELAB module that allows us to manage the virtual experiments. We have the repository server that lies the application Java and the MATLAB, and both of them are connected by an SSH connection. For privacy aspects, we use a firewall, so the privacy of the experiments are totally covered in this sample. This is one of the experiments that we have, the magnetic limitator. That's the user interface. We have graphs of the results of the simulation. We have the inputs of the experiment. We have the type of controller, the simulation. It can be a PID, and this is the graphical simulation of the experiment. And we can see it's real. This is the real one. We can see it's very faithful. The other experiment is the independent pendulum. We can see that the interface is very similar with the inputs, the controller, the graphs, and in this case the pendulum, the car. And I'm showing here the type of connection that we make. The ESH connection between the Java application and the MATLAB, the Java data reading, and that's a few lines of MATLAB M5. And I have a video to show. Okay, that's inverted pendulum. Okay, and due to the gravity, if we don't control this, the pendulum will fall down. But with the controller, we can control the pendulum and reach the equilibrium point. We have made surveys to the students that have used the experiment, and we can conclude that they love physical practices in the lab, and virtual lab and remote lab solutions are closely to the physical practices. They hate to simulate at home because they don't like it. And we can see the features of the experiments. The best related is the documentation of the experiments and the usefulness of the easiness of use of the experiments. And the worst, the realism of the simulation. I think that it's more aesthetical. And the queries on the forum, they don't use much the forum. As a conclusions, I can say it has been developed a virtual laboratory with three main characteristics: a Doru system, Multiplatform system, and modality. Most of the tools that we have used are free software, like Linux, Moodle, easy Java emulation, ACH. It have 7 acceptance of virtual laboratories by students and the teachers and the faculty. And we can say that it has been developed a protocol for generation of virtual laboratory practices or further extension to the other subjects or experiments. As we organize work, we can highlight to reach a point where different entities could share its appropriate experiments in order to have more and more virtual experiments.